Today our topic is why desire is the root of suffering. Stoic perspective. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. One of the most important ideas in Stoicism is that desire is often the cause of our suffering. To understand this, we need to look at how desire works and why it can lead to pain and disappointment. Desire is a strong feeling of wanting something. It could be wanting money, fame, success, love, or even something small like a new phone or a nice meal. At first, desire seems normal and even helpful. After all, desire pushes us to work hard, to achieve goals, and to improve our lives. But the Stoics say that desire can also trap us and make us unhappy. Why is this? Because desire is often tied to things that are outside of our control. We might want a promotion at work, but whether we get it or not depends on many factors beyond our control, like the decisions of our boss or the performance of others. We might want someone to love us, but we cannot force another person to feel a certain way. We might want to be rich, but wealth often depends on luck, timing, and circumstances we cannot predict. When we desire things that are outside our control, we set ourselves up for disappointment. If we don't get what we want, we feel sad, frustrated, or angry. Even if we do get what we want, the happiness it brings is often temporary. We quickly get used to it and start wanting something else. This cycle of desire and disappointment can make us feel like we are always chasing something but never truly satisfied. The Stoics teach us that the key to avoiding this suffering is to focus on what we can control and to let go of our attachment to things we cannot control. This does not mean we should stop wanting things altogether. It is natural to have goals and dreams. But we should be careful about how much importance we give to these desires. Instead of tying our happiness to external outcomes, we should focus on our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. These are the things we truly have power over. For example, instead of desiring a promotion, we can focus on doing our best work, being a good colleague, and learning new skills. Instead of desiring someone's love, we can focus on being kind, understanding, and supportive. Instead of desiring wealth, we can focus on living simply, being grateful for what we have, and using our resources wisely. By shifting our focus in this way, we free ourselves from the constant ups and downs of desire. We become more resilient and less affected by external events. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, to find peace and contentment within ourselves, rather than depending on things outside of us. Another important Stoic idea is that desire often comes from comparing ourselves to others. We see what others have: their money, their success, their relationships, and we want it too. But this comparison only leads to more suffering. No matter how much we have, there will always be someone who has more. If we base our happiness on being better than others, we will never be truly happy. The Stoics remind us that everyone's life is different, and we should not measure our worth by what others have or do. Instead, we should focus on being the best version of ourselves. We should strive to live with integrity, kindness, and courage, regardless of what others are doing. This is a much more reliable path to happiness. The Stoics also teach us to be mindful of the nature of desire. Desire is often based on the belief that something will make us happy. We think, if only I had this, I would be happy. But this is an illusion. Material things, status, and even relationships cannot bring lasting happiness. True happiness comes from within, from living a life of virtue and purpose. When we understand this, we can start to let go of our unnecessary desires. We can appreciate what we have without constantly wanting more. This does not mean we should stop trying to improve our lives, but it does mean we should be careful about what we desire and why. One practical way to apply Stoic philosophy to our lives is to practice gratitude. Gratitude helps us focus on what we already have, rather than what we lack. It reminds us that many of the things we take for granted, our health, our family, our friends are actually great blessings. When we cultivate gratitude, we become less focused on desire and more focused on appreciation. This shift in mindset can bring a deep sense of peace and contentment. Another important Stoic practice is to reflect on the impermanence of things. Everything in life is temporary: our possessions, our relationships, even our own lives. When we remember this, we can start to let go of our attachment to things. We can enjoy them while they last, but we do not cling to them. This attitude helps us avoid the suffering that comes from loss and change. The Stoics also encourage us to embrace challenges and difficulties. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, we can see them as opportunities to grow stronger and wiser. When we face adversity with courage and resilience, we build inner strength. This strength helps us deal with life's ups and downs without being overwhelmed by desire or disappointment. Finally, the Stoics remind us to focus on the present moment. Often, our desires are rooted in the past or the future. We regret things we did or did not do in the past, or we worry about what might happen in the future. But the only moment we truly have is the present. By focusing on the here and now, we can live more fully and avoid the suffering that comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. In conclusion, desire is a natural part of being human, but it can also be the root of much suffering. The Stoics teach us to be mindful of our desires, to focus on what we can control, and to find happiness within ourselves. By practicing gratitude, embracing impermanence, facing challenges with courage, and living in the present moment, we can free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire and disappointment. This does not mean we should stop dreaming or striving for goals, but it does mean we should approach life with a sense of balance and wisdom. When we do this, we can find a deeper and more lasting sense of peace and happiness. This is the gift of Stoic philosophy, a way of living that helps us navigate the challenges of life with grace and resilience.